Hello, and welcome or welcome back to the Obsidian Mirror, where we pause a moment to reflect. I am going to shuffle and select cards for a mirror reflection read. And we will find out what the cards have for us to look at today together. And while I get set up here, it may be a good time to check in with your body, if it feels safe to do so, and see if there's anything you need to do for you at this time. Could be grabbing a beverage, something to eat, something to do with your hands, a comfort item. It could also be getting out some excess energy by shaking out your hands, tugging on your earlobes, doing some gentle stretching or push-ups, whatever you're into. In any case, I wanted to let you know that I am grateful to be here today and very excited for you to join me. So thank you for spending this time with me today. And I invite you to pick up what's useful and ignore the rest. And if you feel inclined, I invite you to also give me some sort of feedback. That could be by liking, commenting, or subscribing, maybe even sharing. It will help me refine my process here on the channel. I am somebody who admires the Virgoan spirit in terms of constant refinement. I particularly love that phase, constant refinement. It may sound exhausting to some, and that's valid, but I happen to really like it. Something funny to share. I was recording another video earlier, and I was interpreting the third card in this same spread when somebody came into the adjoining room and used the bathroom, which was very easy to hear because of the acoustics in here. And I wasn't able to pause fast enough. In fact, I didn't pause at all. I stopped the video entirely. So, whoops. I just sort of laughed and decided that it's okay to start over. I don't have to be frustrated. Everybody needs to use the bathroom. It was a good reminder not to take everything so seriously. I'm going to grab one more from the tarot here. Hopefully you've been able to settle in with me. Oh, and if you're looking at my little wound here, I promise that it looks worse than it is. I just came from the garden. So I've had a lovely morning. Edney? Any gardeners out there? Hello, hello. I've been ripping weeds today. All right. Before I get into the interpretation, I'm going to take a few deep breaths, and you are more than welcome to join me, starting now. Right off the bat, I get a constant refinement over time card here with the Six of Wands, which shows a ballerina getting her flowers after a performance. And I just want to say that ballet is freaking difficult. Not that I have a whole lot of experience, but I have known a couple of ballerinas in my lifetime, and I really enjoy watching the ballet. But one thing that is not necessarily considered when people see a ballerina on stage is how long they've been dedicated to this art form. How many hours of stretching a day? How many hours of practice a day after that? How competitive it is, how demanding. I'm thinking also of like specialty diets. If there are any ballerinas out there, feel free to let us know what your diet is like or anything along those lines. I'm also thinking about how some ballerinas, when they start very young, the way that they are supposed to stretch and practice and position their bodies actually permanently alters their physiology. One example of that would be like permanent turnout, or the orientation of the legs. When they're just standing still, their leg joints tend to move outward. So you might see somebody with like a wide step. I'm not sure what that's called. But yeah, permanent turnout. So this is somebody who has done a lot of work, has probably sweat and bled and cried a lot, but has also kept that passion and that fire with them to be able to endure something that they are then going to turn around and share with others in a way that is satisfying and gratifying and recognized. So this card makes me think of dedication and hard work, but also of connection, because they are sharing their hard work with others. They are displaying their hard-earned talents in a way that is enjoyed. I'm going to move on to agape, which I believe is one of the many Greek words for love. If I'm remembering correctly, there are several iterations of love in the Greek language, which I think is beautiful. I can't remember all of them off the top of my head, but I think it's worth looking into. The Greek word agape informs the English word agape. I don't like that. I don't like agape anyway. To have the mouth agape is to be awestruck by something of breathtaking delight. We are made humble once again. When light, service, reverence, honor, and joy. When dark, spiritual bypassing and righteousness. Interesting. All of the things that I said swiftly exited my brain. I have no thoughts. I'm going to look at that again. Thank you for your patience, because sometimes I am easily distracted, and that's okay. Okay. So with these two cards, I get a sense of duality, and I'm going to explain a little bit of what I mean. So on the one hand, I feel like, as somebody who has watched the ballet and watched other performance art, somebody who's been on stage, it can be quite inspiring to watch somebody express themselves in their chosen field. So I've never been a ballet dancer, but watching somebody up there with such grace and strength, such fluidity and stamina, it takes quite a lot to dance. I'm always put in a place of, let's see here, humility for one, but I'm also thinking about like the distance it would take for me to get to another person's ballet shoes or whatever, just the insane amount of work it would take to become, say, a football player or a musician or something like that. And that's only a taste. I only have the briefest idea of the hard work that it requires. Now, on the other hand, as somebody who has been on stage and shared my artwork in different ways, somebody having a pleasant reaction to the things that I have made, created, or shared is also a humbling experience, because I never expect that. I just make stuff. And then sometimes, not very often, but sometimes I feel brave enough to share it, and part of me is expecting nothing, or a negative reaction, or critique, criticism, advice. And I'm surprised when people like what I've done. They like my painting, they want to buy it. Or somebody hears a joke that I've said and they actually recognize it as humor and laugh. I mean, sometimes it's very simple. But that in its own, in my opinion, or in my experience rather, is a humbling experience, to be recognized for something that may or may not be relatable. Anyway, that's what I'm getting right now, looking at the cards. I'm going to move on to the Knight of Cups in reverse, known in the Shadow Seer Tarot as the Player. Gross. I want to make noises. Sorry if that was abrasive. I have a hairball that I need to throw up. Anyway. When I think about the Knight of Cups, I think about somebody who is earnestly trying to learn about their emotional experience and how to handle the emotions of others. They may not be particularly skilled at it yet, and they may not have very much information or wisdom, but they are trying. And this can be both challenging, but also an opportunity to deepen connections, to learn how to appreciate the experience of another more deeply. When it comes to the shadow aspect, I think the player really says it all. Somebody who is unable to, for whatever reason, sit with themselves and get to know themselves on a genuine level. Somebody who can't admit certain things, won't look at certain things. Somebody who is firmly in the realm of denial. And when I think about players or people who, let's widen the lens a bit, people who seek myriad experiences without getting too deep, avoiding commitment, who are novelty seeking, perhaps chasing validation from external sources, they kind of just make me very sad. Because in my experience, I've known a number of people who express themselves in this way, who experience the world and behave in this way, regardless of romance. Like, it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with romance. There are many ways that this could play out. It just makes me think that the behavior reads as deeply unfulfilled, avoidant, and sometimes deeply insecure. You know, somebody who has a lot of unmet needs and doesn't necessarily realize that those needs won't be met by other people if they are unwilling to sit down with themselves and learn what their needs are, admit that they have whatever it is that they have going on. Makes me think of the old adage, the first step is admitting that you have a problem. So an example of this could be cultivating one's appearance based on whatever community that they are in at the time. And then if they go to a new church or enter a new band scene or become quick friends with a new person, their appearance changes along with that experience because they don't necessarily have a firm sense of self. So I feel like I've been going on and on about this card. It's a really difficult place to be. As somebody who has been a chameleon in my own life for many reasons and many seasons, unfortunately or fortunately. But getting to know oneself, regardless of what is expected, is a really hard thing to do. It's very difficult. Sometimes it feels threatening, scary. It can feel like destruction at times. So If anyone here relates to what I've said about the Knight of Cups or the player, it's okay. It's okay. It can be really hard to determine who we are, who we want to be, and what we want to do from that sense of self. And it's understandable and it's relatable to just want to be loved. To feel like we're worth something, even if that love and that worthiness that we feel are quick hits from other people, shallow, short-lived moments of validation. I think there is the potential here for doing the unfun work of getting to know ourselves on a deeper level, which can lead to very fulfilling connections. It can deepen the love that we share with other people. It can help in so many different ways. I mean, I could just go on and on about it, but I'm going to move on. Because, I mean, I feel called out personally, so maybe somebody else here also feels called out. Anyway, we're going to move on to the Queen of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles is a stable, sturdy experience. This is someone who knows intimately about beginnings, middles, and endings. This is somebody who understands exactly what it will take to see something to the finish line, to plant a seed and then tend it for exactly however long it takes to grow fruit, reach the harvest, decide where the harvest goes. This is somebody who can also be very protective about their material world, but not in a hoarding or greedy way, just somebody who knows the value of the effort and is able to discern who else is able to appreciate those efforts versus people who are just looking for more. More. The Queen of Pentacles is a person of well-earned abundance, can be a gentle figure. I think that's where my brain wants to end with this card. Okay. So, if I'm going to synthesize this reading, I think that a little bit of humility goes a long way. And that wherever we are in our life, it is worth getting to know our experience and trying to evolve in some way. Perhaps this is integration, learning, sharing. There are a number of ways that we can become more invested participants in our own lives if that makes any sense. And that if we continue to give effort in these ways, we will be able to see the changes in our own lives and share them with others, regardless of recognition or not. This could very well lead to a very different existence, one that is cherished, one that can foster deeper connections with the people around us in a way that spreads joy, satisfaction, and maybe even beauty. I think that's all I have for this reading. So I am going to close this out with a deep breath, and you are welcome to join me, starting now. Maybe I'll see you again on the obsidian mirror.